I think just waking up every day and just being happy and doing what you love. For me, that's what success is.
Welcome back to the Michael Brooks Show, everyone. I'm here with Adam, my friend who runs Kin Creative, and Jacob, who runs Coastline Video, I think.
Coastline Films.
Coastline Films.
Yes, yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, today we're talking with two phenomenal young people that I know that I've kind of seen as they've grown up, and they've ventured into their own successful businesses. So we're going to talk about their journey into entrepreneurship, what brought them into their various fields, and their leadership and success tips, and how they can be coaching and mentoring to other people. So, so Adam, I mean, I've known you since you were little, and you grew up in martial arts with Jim and Amanda through Champs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when you were little, what got you into martial arts?
Good question. I remember when I was in like grade 2 or grade 3, I always thought I was like the strongest person in the world and no one could beat me up. And then I think my parents put me in martial arts to humble me at the time. I was always into watching UFC and a lot of the old kung fu movies and stuff like that. So yeah, basically on my 9th birthday, my parents just brought me to Champs at the time, signed me up for martial arts, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. And Jacob, I remember you too. When I had my own daughter Olivia in Champs years ago at the old location, you were doing photos and videos and everything. And you did martial arts too. You were an instructor there, right?
Yeah. So believe it or not, Adam and I actually joined at a very very similar time.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
We did almost 11 or 12. I mean, you're still training, but I did probably 12 years of martial arts before I kind of slowed down and went and did my own thing. But yeah, it was good.
That's cool. So, what do you feel, Adam, martial arts has contributed to your journey in terms of getting into business for yourself? Like, what lessons have you learned that you've been able to take into business?
I think, I think the two biggest lessons I've learned from martial arts is discipline and just not giving up. Discipline in terms of, there was many days where I didn't feel like training, and my parents still forced me to go to Champs or go to the tournaments or whatever it may be. And, learning that discipline from a young age, doing things even when you don't feel like doing it, but doing it like you love it, was a very important lesson to me because, with whatever any of us do, we all have days where we get up and we don't feel like doing anything in the morning. But it's about the discipline, that constant pursuit of knowing that you're working towards a larger goal and doing things even when you don't feel like it. And when you do that, you get out of your comfort zone, and that's where the growth happens. So I'd say that's probably number one. And then number two is probably just not giving up. I remember one thing that Jim, my stepdad, said to me that really stuck with me as a kid was he said, you don't win or lose, you either win or you learn, right? He's like, you actually only lose if you take nothing away truly from your losses.
That's
but whenever you lose,
piece of advice, right?
Exactly. Whenever you lose in tournament, or maybe a business deal doesn't go your way, or you lose a client, or you just have a hard day in your life, as long as you can walk away from that day thinking, okay, well, this is what didn't go wrong. This is what I need to improve. It's not truly a loss. It's a learning lesson. It's an opportunity to get better.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And like, I remember when I actually started late, but I remember when I went through and did martial arts at Champs and Taekwondo and got my black belt, and I learned those lessons too, even at an older age, that sometimes life throws hard things at you, and what do you choose to do with that? Do you choose to give up or push through until you succeed? And I think the Taekwondo lessons I learned taught me a lot about that, because at times it can be very hard, especially when you're a little older doing it. So yeah, it was that never give up attitude, and I think that's really important. Jacob, for yourself too, like, I mean, you've taken that to a whole nother level as well in business. Like, you've gone through martial arts, you have a couple of black belts or more.
Yeah. I got second degree black belt in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And I mean, like Adam said, kind of the same takeaways for me as well. But yeah, it definitely follows through into the whole business world. I remember when I first started Coastline Films, the whole idea of the company wasn't to help ma and pa smaller businesses. It was to go after corporations and start doing TV commercials right off the bat.
Nice.
So it was definitely kind of diving off the deep end and jumping into something that we had no idea what we were doing. And yeah, it was that persistence and determination to get to our goal and reach it and make it happen. And we did just that. We ended up landing in our first year, landing a deal with Toyota Canada and getting Auto Trader and a few other big corporations. So
That's amazing to see that success.
yeah, it was fun.
Adam, what was it that was the turning point for you when you decided, what was the jumping off point when you decided to go out on your own and start your whole own company? Because that can be scary for a lot of people. Like a lot of people are used to the 9-to-5 job. You wake up, you go to work, you're told what to do, you get a paycheck. But when you're starting out on your own, and I know this too, it can be scary because everything in life is now in your control. On one hand, that gives you power, but on the other hand, it can be scary because if you don't work, you don't get paid, right? What was it that made you decide to start your own company? And when you decided that, what was it that made you decide to go in the direction you're going with a marketing company and those types of things?
Yeah, I think for me, as long as I can remember, I always wanted to have my own business. The thing I'm very grateful for is at a very young age, my dad exposed me to a lot of, different businesses. And, my dad was very high up in IBM. He was a management consultant there. So I remember being 5, 6 years old and he was introducing me to the CEO of IBM. I remember being 7, 8, 9 years old and he's taking me traveling to Turkey, India, all these different places. And I'm meeting executives, multimillionaires, even a couple billionaires. So being exposed to all of that wealth and all of these extremely successful people at a young age almost just bred my mindset for just wanting to be a part of that world. I see a lot of people who are just kind of in the same city their entire lives and they never really leave and get exposed to, other ways of thinking. And because of that, they're just conditioned to think a certain way and to think smaller and just do what everyone else does. But I think from a very young age, being exposed to such successful people, it taught me the lesson that I can do whatever I want in life as long as I put my mind to it. And then, growing up, feel like getting into my business, it was just an accumulation of a lot of different skills. I remember being 9, 10, and my dad had me reading, university textbooks on computer science and computer engineering. I remember being 10, 11, 12 years old, and I was learning JavaScript, HTML, and basically how to code websites from scratch. I remember as a teenager, I was getting into it around the same time as Jacob, photography and videography. We would go to Toronto all the time and we would climb up to the top of
I remember
buildings.
seeing some of those pictures way back in the day, buddy.
We don't do none of that anymore, but no, we had some fun for sure.
Wasn't the safest thing, but it was a lot of fun. But yeah, doing that, and then end of high school, not wanting to go to university because school just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And then working at Champs and just, helping my parents with the sales and marketing and growing their business, really wanting to give back to them. And I think, starting my own business after working at Champs for 3 years and just using all the skills I'd learned throughout my life to help basically triple their revenue at the time, I was craving something more. I was like, okay, this is cool. I mean, it makes me feel good that I'm helping my family.
Yeah.
But I want to get rich. I got my goals and stuff. So I'm like for me, I actually wasn't scared at all. If anything, you know what? It wasn't that I was scared. And I'm sure you can maybe relate to it. I was comfortable at the time. I'm like, oh, I'm getting this paycheck every month. Like, I don't know, I want my own thing, but I don't know if I should make the jump. It's funny, actually, Jacob, he took me to Wild Wing. I remember Mapleview and Huronia.
There you go.
And he had a conversation with me, and I'm like, man, I'm not as happy anymore. I want to do my own thing. He's like, Adam, he's like, you literally just need to sign 1 or 2 clients to replace your entire income. I'm like, oh, but it's easier than it sounds. He's like, no, man, it's not. Trust me. And I didn't take action on it right away. It took me about a year or so.
I remember that conversation though, man. Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that cool when you
That's
look back on
crazy.
stuff like that?
Yeah.
right?
I know. And then, yeah, that's started the business. And just like Jacob said, picked up my first, second client. I'm like, damn, there's my monthly income. And then just kept increasing from there, right? So
Yeah.
I think,
That's
yeah,
wild.
that's kind of how the journey went for me.
And it's so much about mindset, right? Like you talk about being comfortable, and then it took someone like him to push you out of that comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you talked about yourself when you just decided, I'm gonna go for it. I'm not gonna go for the mom and pop shops. I'm gonna go for the big guys. And you just
100%.
dove right in and went for it, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you feel that whole mindset plays into entrepreneurship? Like I know for entrepreneurs, it's a huge thing to have that mindset because, like, a massive amount, like 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. And I was telling my own kids, it's not because the business isn't a good business. It's because people don't know how to self-manage, how to self-motivate, how to push themselves out of that comfort zone
100%.
and to do those things, right? So, what do you think mindset plays? in terms
Yeah,
of
I mean,
growing
I
your
think
business?
I think it comes back around to kind of what Adam was saying about how people are conditioned. You know, their environment. They wake up every day. They do the same things. They go home. They sleep. Get up. Repeat. Right.
Yeah.
So there's no exposure to anything that's kind of greater than what they're already doing. I think that's kind of one of the big things that pushed me out of that position. Because when I was in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I liked photo and video. And then I ended up getting a job with a clothing brand down in Toronto. And that just kind of opened up doors tenfold for me. I got introduced to all these successful people and was now starting to travel and get out of my comfort zone. And I think it just kind of expanded from there. So, yeah, I definitely think, getting out of that comfort zone and your environment and going to see more is really crucial.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Adam, you started Kin Creative.
Yeah.
What was your aim in starting the company? Like it's a marketing company for martial arts, right?
Yes. Yes.
So how does that work? Like what is it you want to do for martial arts companies? What is your focus? What was your goal starting the company?
So originally, it was saving my family's school during the pandemic. Up here in Ontario, obviously lockdowns were tough.
Yeah.
Family had a huge 10,000 square foot facility. They couldn't keep the lease going, so they were forced to shut down. So originally, it was just helping my parents rebuild their business and scale it up.
Yep.
And honestly, at the time, I didn't have a specific focus when I started my company. I was just working with any types of businesses who would reach out: barbershops, restaurants, dentists, etc.
Yeah.
And then over time, for me, I want to scale my company and accomplish big things and help everyone around me. And I realized if I want to go further, I need to focus on one specific industry. Business is all about focus. There's so many people who are very smart that I see, who are very talented, but they don't get far because they split their focus and try to do too many different things, right? It's like trying to be a gold medalist in the Olympics at like boxing, swimming, and I don't know, hockey all at the same time. It's impossible, right? So it's the same thing with business. You can't be chasing all these different industries, trying to be the best at all these different skills. You need to choose one specific thing. And for me, over time, after I helped my family's martial arts school, more martial arts schools started reaching out to me just after seeing what I did for them. And, for me, it kind of fell into place just with all the martial arts schools reaching out to me. And, I've done martial arts my whole life. My family owns a martial arts school. It was also like all the different skills I'd learned as a kid, like websites and content creation and helping my parents grow their school.
Yeah.
I put it all together with a business. And for me, my goal initially was just to be the number one company in the industry to help martial arts schools grow.
Yep.
I've seen with my parents working with different companies in the past that overpromise and underdeliver. They got burned. Or I've seen with so many clients who work with marketing agencies who promise them the world and make the biggest claims, and then they end up burning their money. So for me, I always wanted to be the most trusted place people can go. And over time, we've kind of refined our vision. Now we have more of a specific vision and field we're going for. So we look for martial arts schools who usually about at least $20K per month in revenue, because they have enough to invest. We do work with startups too who have the budget, and we scale them past $100,000 per month, because once they get to that point, 100K per month in revenue at about 30 to 50% profit margins, that's 30 to 50K per month in profit. That's a pretty good life.
Yeah.
And then from there, we help them open more locations and really scale up their schools over time.
Nice. Very cool. Jacob, what drew you in your earlier years to photography and video? Where did you find that passion come from?
That's a tricky question. It's quite a while ago. So I remember taking photography in high school.
Yeah.
I actually failed the class.
I think I took photography in high school too.
Yeah. So I actually failed that class.
I was a long time before you though.
I think I skipped more classes than I went to in that class. And then I think it was that Christmas I got a DSLR for Christmas.
Nice.
I'm like, oh shit, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. failed my class. Not really my thing. But I used to, we used to skateboard and stuff, and we'd take videos of that, and then I think that slowly kind of progressed into the going down to Toronto and urban exploring, climbing on buildings and hanging off cranes and all that fun stuff, which I do not recommend. Very dangerous. And then that kind of progressed to a point where, like I said previously, the clothing brand reached out.
Yeah.
And I started with them, and then it just kind of went crazy.
Nice.
Traveling all over the place, and fast forward 80 countries now, so it's been a wild ride.
So how did you come across or secure that first big contract you talked about that was, like your launching point?
Yeah, so Team LTD and the two owners of this, Jamie and Nano, will fight with each other on who actually found me to this day. But
There you go.
one of them had reached out on Instagram, and I was sent out to shoot a little short video for them. And then it was just like a one-off project. And then it went really well, and they invited me back, and then they kept inviting me back. And then I was still in high school while this was all happening.
No way.
And then they were like, do you want to come on full time while I was in high school?
Wow.
So it was crazy. So in my final year, my grade 12 of high school, I scraped by, and I would skip school, go down to Mississauga, Toronto, and stay at the owner of Team LTD's house and work with them all week instead of going to high school. So I did that for pretty much the remainder of high school, scraped by, just barely passing high school, and then just kind of went full tilt into that right out of school, and it was wild. We did a lot of fun stuff.
Very cool. Now you brought up an interesting point about high school or education, right? Because a lot of the mainstream wants everybody to go through high school, go through university or college, get their degree, right? Nothing wrong with that, but personally I believe very strongly that you can be very successful and don't even need a degree these days, right? I find the education system a little iffy, to be honest. So I think you guys are great examples that, you just have an idea, you just dive in and go for it, and you can be super successful.
100%,
right?
yeah. I think the biggest thing with all that is, it doesn't take much. You just have to have a little bit of passion and want to work hard. Yeah. And you can make anything happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're living proof of that.
That's so cool,
right?
man. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So Adam, when it comes to your company now, you've grown quite a bit. I've watched your journey. It's pretty cool. You have focused in now, like you said. But correct me if I'm wrong, you now also, when you're helping these companies scale and grow, you don't just do the marketing. Don't you do some leadership and coaching with them as well?
Yes, we do. So initially, we would just help them with the marketing portion, so just getting them leads and appointments. But I realized over time that's not enough to actually help these businesses grow. Because, for example, we could send 50 appointments through the door, but if they don't have a good sales process in place and they close a couple of them, they're not going to be profitable. And it doesn't matter how good I did my job. If they're not profitable, they're not going to stay with us. They're not going to continue to pay us every single month, right? We could get 50 people to sign up a month, but if they don't have the operational structure in place with their business to offer a good quality program and actually keep their members for a long period of time, they're still not going to be profitable, and they're still not going to, keep reinvesting back into their, partnership with us. So over time, we've basically expanded to help them with those areas, right? So we help them with the marketing portion, like filming their content, running their ads, following up with their leads until they show up. But we also help them with the coaching portion now. So making sure they have a good sales process, making sure they have a good retention with their current customers, helping them with hiring the right instructors, systemizing their business so they can win back their time and have a business that works for them, planning out their P&Ls, right, to make sure that it's not just a vanity metric, revenue is really juiced up, but they're actually taking home a good profit for themselves and their families.
Nice. How important do you think it is to have a good coach and a mentor?
Oh, it's so important. I mean, I would not be anywhere near where I am now if I didn't invest in coaches and mentors. Like for me, I'm on the extreme side of it. Like I've spent, a lot of money on coaches and mentors, but I believe me taking those risks and making those investments back into myself is what has propelled me to get to this level. Like I remember, again, when my family lost their martial arts school, and I didn't have much saved up at the time, maybe like 5-10K, and I put it all towards like a brand new MacBook, a camera, a bunch of like website courses, and I went into thousands of dollars in debt just to get everything going. Or last year I spent $100,000 on a 2-day workshop with this guy Alex Hormozy, who makes like 18 million per month, and that was an amazing learning lesson. Or even now I probably spend 15-20K a month alone just to get into masterminds with all these very successful people. I don't say any of that to flex or anything. It's just as I continue to make more money, I think it's very important for me to continue to reinvest back into myself, because it really helps with my growth and going back to being conditioned in certain ways. I remember thinking couple of years ago, oh my god, $100,000 per month, that's a lot of money. I can't even comprehend it. Like once I make that much, like I'm
That's some
set
people's
for
salary for the whole year.
I'm set for life, right? Like exactly. And then I got into this one mastermind, and the guy's making like $1 million per month at 29 years old, and there's all these guys my age or maybe a little bit older than me making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 per month, and I'm like, shit, $100,000 per month is nothing, man. And just like paying to be in these rooms with people, like you never want to be the biggest fish in the pond or whatever they say, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's been great for me to help pull me up to that next level much faster.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like I see too many times, because I do coaching too, right? I see too many times people have the mindset of, I can't afford coaching, when in fact the people that are smart realize they can't afford not to be coached, right?
Yeah.
Because you realize with the right coaching, I'll get to the next 10x level. Without it, I'm not going anywhere fast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that mindset of continually being able to work on yourself, to invest in yourself, right? They say the biggest thing an entrepreneur can do, the biggest thing you can spend your money on is yourself. If you're investing in yourself, you'll grow, right? How do you find that even for yourself, Jacob, in your own business, like investing in yourself and growing? And have you had any coaches or mentors over the years?
Yeah. I mean, looking back on the last few years, definitely there's some people out there that have kind of helped push me into the next level of, I guess you could call it filmmaking, commercial producing. Without it, you kind of stagnant, stuck in the same place. I don't think I'd be where I am now without those people.
Nice.
Probably still be just creating Instagram content.
There you go. So Adam, where do you see your business going in the next 5-10 years? What's your vision for yourself, for your future, for your company?
Oh, man. We're taking over.
Here comes the master plan.
There you go. The big questions.
How much should I say?
I stumped you. Do I get a prize for that?
No, I would say our big goal within the next year or so is to cross that 8-figure per year mark. And then once we do that, just continuing to scale up in our industry. I mean, we can cross that 8-figure per year mark with like having like 0.001% of like the entire industry captured. So from there, you know, just keep scaling up, hit 9 figures per year, ideally in the next 3 to 5 years, and then just continue to dominate the industry. I mean, right now we're just focused on marketing and coaching, but
Yep.
you know, there's other things we can go into. Like marketing and coaching is it's great, but there's other business models like having the CRMs, having the softwares for the martial arts gyms that have much higher exit multiples. You know, a lot of people when they're first trying to get wealthy, they look at service-based businesses that have a nice cash flow, like that's what I'm doing. But the real wealthy people, they're not as consumed with the monthly cash flow or profit. They're looking at enterprise value, right?
Yeah.
What the businesses can sell for and making those big leaps. So that's what where software will come in, and we have some other components as well with our master plan. But
Yep.
yeah, I think in the next 10 years, the big goal is to be evaluated at least $1 billion company in the industry.
Nice. That's pretty aggressive. That's pretty cool.
We'll make it happen. You
Yeah.
guys can hold me to my word.
There you go. Right on.
Yeah.
For yourself, Jacob, I know you're helping Adam here with all your skills and abilities.
Yeah.
Your own company with the
Yeah.
filmmaking and stuff. Where do you see yourself in the next few years?
Yeah, so I mean, kind of like Adam said, I've kind of jumped onto this ship at this point. Coastline still operates, so we've toned it down. We've kind of got rid of a bunch of our smaller clients, and now we're just kind of keeping our hero clients alive. So we'll do probably like 4 or 5 jobs a year, usually in the summer months when we shoot, and then that's about it. And then the odd time we'll get a documentary project or two that pops up, but yeah, other than that, my focus is now towards Kin. Yeah, so it's exciting. It's exciting times.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, if I was to ask you from your perspective, because you guys are young entrepreneurs, what would you say success means to you?
Go ahead.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. I think for me, success means just being happy. You know, like I could have a $1 billion company 10 years from now, but if I'm not happy, I don't consider that being successful. I think it's just being happy, like waking up every day and being like, wow, this is an amazing life. I'm doing what I love. And yeah, like even right now, even though I look at where I am and I'm like, man, like I'm nothing yet. I still have so far to go. I still wake up every day and I'm truly blessed. I'm blessed to work with, you know, one of my best friends, with my, you know, my family members. I'm blessed to be like all of us together working towards this collective mission that's going to change the industry forever, change, you know, thousands and thousands of lives around the world, change all of our lives forever. So
Yeah.
I think just waking up every day and just being happy and doing what you love, for me, that's what success is.
Yeah, yeah. You couldn't have said it any better. Yeah, freedom, success. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool to hear that, especially from young guys, because I know you touched on it a little bit earlier. I mean, we all want to have money, right?
Yeah.
Money's great. The wealth is one thing, but some of those things are fleeting, like having fancy cars, big mansions, jets, all that stuff, right? It's cool. I mean, who wouldn't want to have that, big yachts and everything, right? But at the same time, there's deeper things in life
Yeah.
that mean more, right? Like your relationships and the stories and the people you're impacting. And it's cool to see you guys working together in such a great way, picking a niche that you can go after that needs your help, providing the integrity that you feel is missing in the industry, right? People are taking advantage of clubs, you guys aren't. And just to see how quickly you're growing and scaling and to see your future. And I think that if you continue on with the way you're doing it and showing the integrity that you have, then the sky's the limit for you. So
Thank you.
it's pretty cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing, like, we all are, just like you, are inspired by, making more money and achieving materialistic things. But I think we're rooted in just wanting to be the best possibly we can in our industry. Where we're always thinking like, oh, how can we make our ads better? How can we make our funnels better? How can we serve our clients better? How can we make them more money? I think because we're rooted with those good intentions versus how can we just juice every dollar we can out of clients, it really helps. And I think going back to the whole success, happiness, money thing, I think the big thing I've learned over time is with any materialistic things I've got, like the house or like watch or whatever, like they're cool, but they usually wear off like over time, like you can't chase happiness from materialistic things. And don't get me wrong, like me and Jacob talk all the time. He'll have a Porsche by like the summer. I'm looking at a G-Wagon in the next week or two, but still like I know that as I continue to climb the materialistic ranks and get nicer watches and cars or whatever, like eventually like I'll realize like, oh yeah, it all didn't really mean anything. That's why it's really important not to like place your happiness into those like objects and things like that, and just to make sure you enjoy your life for what it is.
Yeah, that's so cool, because there's nothing wrong with making money and having stuff. Like that's something I think there's a misconception on sometimes, materialistic things is wrong or whatever, materialism. At least I don't think there's anything wrong with having that stuff. I see what's wrong is when you chase that stuff, and that's where you put your love, is your love is after the money, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool to see again your success. I look forward to seeing you in that G-Wagon and the Porsche, right? I gotta get a ride in it. But just to see your heart, that it's for people and for making a difference, that's what's gonna make you grow.
Thank you.
100%.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. It's an exciting journey we're both on. It's crazy, like even just a couple months ago, I remember like Jacob was coming over one day, because I messaged Jacob and I was like, hey man, like, because Amon and Landon, my brother and my family friend, they're like, they help us with the creatives and content and stuff, and I wanted to level up their skills. So I messaged Jacob and I was like, hey, like, you wanna, what would it take to come over and like, just train them? He's like, oh, don't worry, man, I'll just stay there for a couple of days and help them out.
I think I was in like Morocco at this point. I get a text message and I'm on the beach in like Agadir surfing.
Nice. You're like, oh, sure.
Texted me.
And then he comes over though, and then he's like, all right, like, show me where you guys are at and what it is that you need help with. And I showed him the whole plan, and he was like, oh, holy shit. He's like, okay. Like, he's like, you know what? He's like, instead of just helping you guys for a couple of days, why don't I just join the team? I was like, what? Like, I was like, I didn't even think of that as like a possibility. And then like all the stars aligned. Yeah. And right now it's crazy. Like if you were to see our team, we have a super team right now. Every single person is straight killers. Like Issa, my younger brother, he was getting back from jiu-jitsu class the other day and went to the office. Yeah. One of our employees, Marcus, you might know him from Emmanuel in the church, but he started work at 9 a.m. It was 7:46 p.m. He was still there, just making calls. So like, and we don't like all of our team members aren't obligated to go further than like their 9 to 5s or whatever. But just because everyone is so motivated and fired up,
just hungry.
Yeah, we have a crazy culture. Like everyone just goes so hard, and it's amazing. It's really cool.
Yeah, culture is a big part, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like you can have a great company with great ideas and vision, but if the culture sucks, then nobody's gonna want to work there, right?
Yeah,
100%.
So that's another big part. Like how do you feel culture plays such a big part in a company?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think one thing a lot of companies struggle with is employee churn, not just client churns, but talent leaving over time, and then them having to scramble and find new people. And I don't think I've had anyone leave for years from the company, just because we have such a tight clique. Everyone is legitimately like a family. Like any single person on the team, one of us could be like, oh, we're stranded at 3 a.m. and someone would come, help us in a second. we have cool competitions where we all go. Like if the team hits a certain goal, we all go out for dinners together every week, or we'll do a movie night and
Nice.
do fun things together. So we built a really cool culture. And I think it's great. Like every single person on the team, you can ask them what our goal is at any specific point in time, and everyone will tell you the same thing. So I think just that collective vision that we're all working towards, and everyone just coming to work every day, everyone loving what they do, and everyone almost lifting each other up. Like there'll be some days where I'm like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit lazy. I come downstairs and like some of these guys are grinding on the laptop at like 9, 10 p.m. and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta
Like,
go harder, man.
I gotta get back in this.
Yeah, or if I see someone who's like going through a hard time, like I'll lift them up too. And I think that's a cool thing. We all lift each other up. We all, and the other cool thing about our culture as well is it isn't just rooted in work. And I know like Jacob can talk on this, but we're just trying to chase becoming the best version of ourselves, because everything you want in life is on the other end of just improving yourself as a person. So we do red light therapy at that superhuman place. We do like oxygen therapy, the PMF mats. We go work out almost every day. Every other day we're hitting the sauna. Summers we'll be going for runs. We eat like extremely clean diets, only like whole foods and everything. We have trackers to check our REM sleep, deep sleep. So we optimize every part of our personal lives as well, so we can be feeling at our absolute best. And I think that's a cool thing about our culture too, is everyone in the company, like they're not just about working from, non-stop, but we're all about bettering ourselves too.
Yeah, and it reflects in our work, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, guys. It was amazing to have you guys. I'm blessed to know you as friends, and I'm excited to see your future. So thanks for coming
cheers,
on.
man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
it was
no
super
problem.
fun.
And stay tuned for more episodes like this.
Woo!